Exos down there. That was also a great group of people. They were professional. They were awesome to come in and work hard every day. Got to meet, incredible people. Got to meet a bunch of guys that, were going on the same journey. Some of the top defensive linemen there as well were there training. So just kind of build that relationship, get to know them, and wish them the best in the succession of going with this process and going within the draft.
And then for the next several weeks, will you be back there in Scottsdale?
No, I'll be here. I'll be training. There's no better place to train than what Nebraska's got to offer. That along with the meals and my lease isn't up till April, so might as well get the most out of that. But yeah, no, and then I just got some Zoom calls set up. Meeting with some teams. So it'll be hopefully a busy few weeks before the draft comes around.
What has the interview process been like for you?
Oh, it's been awesome. Honestly, it's been really easy. I guess talking with you guys for the last 6 years has really helped prep me for those moments. But also, I think just the culture that Coach Rule has brought into the team, and just kind of like the standard and the intensity of everything, of everything with purpose, has really helped me be confident in myself to be able to go and attack these interviews head on and not be intimidated or nervous or anxious about the future employer who I'm speaking with.
Did you get any off the wall bizarre questions?
No, it's been pretty clean cut for me. I think everyone's has a pretty good idea of who I am.
Nat was talking about the D line that's building right now for 25 around here. You've been around some of those guys. What can you say about what's coming up to try to replace you guys?
I think there will be no drop off. I mean, those guys behind me, especially those young guys, I think I felt very proud, very secured and comfortable knowing that those guys are going to be taking over that room. And I know they're going to do it the right way, and I know they'll lead the right way, because the standard in that room is a lot different than most people think. And I just think that group of guys are going to come together, and I think you guys will be pretty excited, because I know I am, to come watch them this fall.
How do you approach draft day? Do you have a big draft party, or do you have a plan what you're going to do on draft?
I have no idea. I've been kind of taking this one step at a time. When it was the Senior Bowl, I was only worrying about the Senior Bowl, and then when it came to the Combine, I was really only worrying about the Combine, and then for Pro Day, I was really worrying about the Pro Day. So I guess now it's kind of time to kind of think about that. I'm not really a big party guy in general, so maybe just have family around, some close family who I thought has been around and supported me throughout my career here and even growing up. So those are the people around me that I feel like I'd be honored to have around me.
Do you hope the support? You've been a big support for Nash, and he's been a big support for you. Just what has that been like going through this process?
Yeah, me and Nash are still, catch up, make sure we're checking in on each other, making sure, kind of holding that same accountability with each other, joking around, asking if he's 3:30 yet or whatnot, or if he's fast or slow one day. And I'm super proud of Nash, just, being able to push each other, even though we're halfway across the country training in two different spots. But I think today what he put out there was awesome. And again, I'm super proud, and I'm very grateful to be able to have played with him here.
Do you hope that, your journey and the fact that you said that, staying was the best thing for you, and your testing numbers can be used sort of as a tool for other guys in the future to sort of do the same thing?
Yeah, if it's best for them. And honestly, the testing numbers are great, right? They look good on paper, but if you could play ball, you could play ball. And that's really what these scouts are going to be looking at. To me, those numbers are just kind of more icing on the cake. Okay, he could check all these boxes, but if you could, be disruptive and, you're not the ideal body type, or you can be fast and, you're not, supposed to be fast, right? If you find a way to be impactful and be able to do that on the field, they're going to find a way to use you.
Ty, sorry if you've addressed this already, but did your 40 number even impress you, and have you always been that fast?
I've always been fast. That's been kind of the running joke here, is I tell everybody, I'm fast. And, people don't believe me in a way, and then I guess I go out there and do that, and it's kind of just that evidence of that stone evidence right behind me to say that I am fast. I was hoping to be a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, I'll take it.
Are you able to go into what teams you talk to at the Combine, or is that something
I talk to everybody. That interview process, it is just you're just bouncing off all the walls, getting pushed and pulled everywhere from one team to another. I mean, every guy there was pretty busy, for the nights that they had interviews.
One more on the defensive line of the guys coming back. I mean, you and Nash were such leaders there last year. Who do you see as sort of maybe that next guy to take the lead, set the tone, set the standard?
Yeah, I think, it goes in hand, like, Cam, Lenhart, Van Pop, and even Judy. Like, I feel like those three are going to be kind of the ones to, replace me, Nash, and Jamari. I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty excited. I have faith in them that they're able to kind of hold that standard and, even make it better to what me, Nash, and Jamari were able to do, because, 6 wins isn't enough now. Bowl game's not enough. So now the standard is more than just a bowl game. Now it's contention for the Big Ten championship and contention for the college football playoffs. So the standards, it's already been beaten. It's time to set a new one and keep going.
Coach Rules talks a lot about how having NFL players in the league really helps build a program in terms of recruiting. Does that motivate you, along with the intrinsic motivations of obviously personal success, but being that standard for the program for guys to bring in the future?
I mean, yeah, like I represent Nebraska through and through. Like, I'm proud to say, that I played at Nebraska. To all these scouts that I've talked to, like, I've made them aware of how great Nebraska is and how, it's honestly kind of under the radar, and it'll be a gold mine here pretty soon. Like, the way that Coach Rule is able to develop players and with his coaching staff and all the other staff, like, I think it just kind of puts another tick on his resume. Like, here's another guy that was able to do this after he left here, and that was only when I had him for 2 years. Imagine if I have you for 4. And, it just kind of gives you that idea of, for the guys coming in, like, if, you really love football and you really want to play football at the next level, then this is the place to be, because you're going to get developed to be there.
No, it's really like cliche, but has there been a moment where you sat back and been like, "Oh, I'm gonna get drafted. Like I'm gonna go to the NFL. Like I'm gonna get selected." Like,
Yeah, no. At this point, it's just I'm just hoping that I get taken by anybody. Like I don't care who it is, when it is. Like all I need is an opportunity and chance, and that's kind of the way I'm kind of facing it. Once once I set a goal in my head, like I'm gonna get it no matter what. So it kind of gives me that confidence and that kind of reassurance of you're gonna get there. It's just gonna be a matter of how.
Now, going through this process, is there one thing that maybe surprised you, or did you learn something about yourself during this whole draft thing, going from place to place?
Yeah, I mean, being in college is harder than being in through this process. I mean, just I get to go work out, and then after that, I get my meals, and then all of a sudden it's like I don't know what to do with myself. Like there's no class, there's no meetings, there's no this or that. You're just kind of playing the waiting game at this point. And just being able to also be blessed and grateful enough to be a part of the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Like I took those face on, and I everything I could get out of those, I made sure to take advantage of the resources there and the people there. So hopefully they remember me some way, and especially on draft day. Thanks, guys.